Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday and happy big announcement week for Halloween Horror Nights Orlando, because yesterday we got the release of multi-night tickets and Terrifier announced for both Halloween Horror Nights Orlando and Hollywood. So yesterday was a very big day in the Halloween Horror Nights fandom, because instead of leaving us in the dark of when multi-night tickets would go on sale, Halloween Horror Nights gave us a little hint and told us on Twitter tickets would be released on Thursday. So we knew yesterday was going to be a big day, and then on top of it we got Terrifier announced as our latest IP house. So we're going to talk about both of those things today, including the price breakdowns, how the ticket system worked this year, and of course talk about Terrifier, talk about the press release, what we can expect to see at the event, and what's coming next. Before I go any further, let me go ahead and introduce myself. If this is the first video of mine that you are ever seen, hi, I'm Liz. I'm a die-hard Halloween Horror Nights Orlando fan. I've been attending the event since 2001, and here on my channel I talk about all the news, rumors, speculation, announcements, and then come the fall I vlog from the fog. Now that I have my multi-night ticket, I can guarantee I will be in the fog many nights this year. So if you love Halloween Horror Nights content, make sure to click to subscribe. And for everyone else, thanks for sticking with me this season. The announcement and speculation season's kind of winding down. Halloween Horror Nights starts literally next month, which is so exciting. Let's talk about this next to last IP announcement. No, we've got two more to go after this, and then multi-night tickets. Let's go ahead and talk about the tickets first. That was kind of the big item that we knew was coming yesterday, was multi-night tickets. As with the previous years, Halloween Horror Nights is still offering the same frequent fear passes, including Rush of Fear, Frequent Fear Plus, and Ultimate Frequent Fear. And then each one of those also had an express pass option. There were some rumors for a while that there was going to be no express option for multi-nights. I have never been so happy for those rumors to be wrong, because I am someone who does utilize the express. It's a very hefty cost, and at the moment I still think it's very much worth it for how many nights I go and for how my friend group operates. I still really loved having the express. However, if it hadn't been available this year, I would have just gotten the regular pass, gone back to how it was prior to me having express, and still had a really good time. But thankfully that rumor was false. But this year they did it very different than in the past. So the past few years, the passes have just kind of mysteriously appeared on the website at 5 or 6 in the morning on this Thursday in July. And we kind of all figured out what week it was happening, because it's been this same week for the past 3 years at least. And so we kind of all had an idea it was going to be this week, but we all expected it to be the same thing of like, you just wake up in the morning and they're on the website. But then Halloween Horror Nights tweeted and said that they would be live on the website after 12 p.m. So that changed things. I got real nervous, because it's one thing if they just kind of appear on the website, the fans know about it, and we can all go get our tickets. Having everyone know when the tickets are going on sale, I was so worried the website was going to crash, that it was going to be a Run Disney style queue where, you know, you got in, had to wait 5 hours. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't have faith that Universal's website knew what to expect, because the Mardi Gras registration can usually be kind of chaotic, and the AP night can be chaotic at times. So I was worried, but thankfully my fears seem to be mostly unfounded, and it seems like the majority of people out there had a really good experience yesterday. So for me, I was in the queue. I got on the website at like 11:58, and I just kept refreshing until the tickets appeared. I got my Frequent Fear Plus with Express, and by 12:02 my ticket confirmation was there. I was good to go. And thankfully I can report that this year all of my friends were able to get the tickets that they wanted. So last year we had ticket debacle, it sold out, we weren't expecting it to sell out, we had no idea there was going to be limited express, they'd never done that before. A lot of my friends didn't end up with passes. It was a whole lot of struggle to get people to either be able to upgrade their passes, or some of my friends just did Rush of Fear last year because that's the only option available to them. It was a whole thing. But thankfully this year everyone was prepared. We were all on the website on time. We all got the passes we wanted. It was still a little scary because the top 2 tiers of Frequent Fear with Express, the Ultimate and the Frequent Fear Plus, sold out within 28 minutes. I think Ultimate went first, and I've heard reports that Ultimate went as early as 14 minutes, then Frequent Fear Plus at 28 minutes, and it looked like Frequent Fear with Express went by about 45 minutes in. As of recording this video, Rush of Fear with Express is still available, and I'm not surprised about that because last year Rush of Fear with Express never actually sold out. If you wanted Rush of Fear with Express the last week it was available, you still could have gotten it. I think for the majority of fans, they want to have October access, so September only isn't worth it to them. To each their own, and a lot of people traveling in, the Rush of Fear really works for them. As of recording, Rush of Fear with Express is still available, and I expect those to stick around at least for a while longer. The regular passes, they have never sold out. I don't think we're in a case of being worried about those selling out. I think maybe way in the future that could be a potential thing, but at the moment I think there's plenty of those available. Anyone stressed yesterday, it was really just stress over trying to get Express, and if you weren't so going for Express, you really didn't have to worry. Overwhelming majority online from the fans seems positive about yesterday. Props to Universal for that one. It went very smoothly and all of my stress and worry was for nothing. But speaking of stress, let's talk about these ticket prices because they went up yet again. So we'll go through the base tickets first. So starting with Rush of Fear, this year Rush of Fear started from $199.99 per person. These are all going to be pre-tax prices. I'm not figuring out the tax. So $199.99, essentially $200 for Rush of Fear, which that's good for basically from opening weekend August 29th through September 21st. Every date during those, so that includes Saturdays. That is Rush of Fear. So you don't get the last weekend of September, but you get the first 4 weekends of the event. Then moving on to Frequent Fear, that one was, I'm just gonna round up, $250 pre-tax. That one includes all of the nights of the event except for Fridays and Saturdays. Then you go up one more tier to Frequent Fear Pass Plus. This one started at $300 and includes all event nights except for Saturdays. However, this pass does include opening weekend and closing weekend. So it does include the Saturday of closing weekend. Frequent Fear includes opening weekend but not closing weekend. So that's always a differentiation between those two tickets, is if you really want to be there for opening and closing weekend, you have to get Frequent Fear Pass Plus, and that is the main reason why I get that pass. And then finally, you have the Ultimate Frequent Fear Pass. This is the top tier. You get every single night of the event, plus your parking's included in this. So if you don't have an annual pass, this includes your parking. $419, $420 if you will. I don't think that the Frequent Fear passes are that crazy. However, I do remember, you know, a decade ago, it was like $85 for that kind of pass. They're definitely going up, but maybe not at the same rate as the Express passes, which are getting real crazy. Run quickly through the Express Pass options for those. Rush of Fear with Express was $689. Frequent Fear with Express was $849. Frequent Fear Pass Plus with Express was $949. And Ultimate Fear with Express, $1,199. Last year, I had Frequent Fear Plus with Express and it was $839. And now Frequent Fear with Express, the tier down, was more than my pass last year. I have a distinct memory of 2021 getting the Ultimate with Express and it was $777. I just remember it because it was a very specific number of 777 and thinking, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm spending $777 for a pass. And now that same pass is $1,200 pre-tax, and Rush of Fear is almost the same cost as what it was for the entire event with Express just 4 years ago. These tickets are raising at an incredible amount. Obviously now Express is limited. Back then it was not, now it is. And so they are charging a premium for you to be able to use the privilege of having Express. Boy, howdy, are we paying for it. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I got the Frequent Fear Plus with Express. So pre-tax it was $949, but with tax, I can tell you, it was $1,011. Ouch. Now this is obviously my favorite event of the year, right? I talk about it all year. I look forward to it all year. I am going to splurge on this event. I had it in my mind that I was going to be spending over $900 for this pass already. And then for a period of time, I didn't think I was going to be spending on Express at all. So there's a little bit of time of like, ooh, am I going to go to the premium Scream event and use the money that I would have used toward Express toward that? But then obviously the Express passes happened. So it's not going to be premium Scream night for me. I'm going to pass on that, because I have definitely spent enough on Express as it is. Let me know in the comments down below if you got the pass that you wanted, what kind of pass you decided for your season, and if you liked the new way they did the tickets, because I was real stressed about it beforehand, but it turned out to be a pretty good thing. So now with tickets out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the other big news from yesterday, and that was Terrifier announced for Halloween Horror Nights, Orlando, and Hollywood as a house. I may have had a little inkling this was happening, and I may have done some Halloween Horror Nights homework on Wednesday night. So I have now officially seen the first Terrifier movie. I'll share my thoughts on it, but I do think I'll at least watch the second movie, because based on the press release, it sounds like a lot of this house is happening in the setting of the second movie. So let me go ahead and read the press release and then we'll discuss. During Halloween Horror Nights, guests will experience an unfathomable level of gore as they try to escape becoming Art the Clown's next victim. Terrifier is a grisly haunted house oozing with a new sense of terror that takes guests into Art the Clown's gruesome funhouse, which first appeared in Terrifier 2. Guests will be overwhelmed by the sights, sounds, smells, and dread of Art's grotesque kills gleefully displayed for all to see. As fans make their way through the claustrophobic corridors, they will encounter familiar faces, including Vicky and the little pale girl, and witness iconic kills from the franchise. Chaos reigns at the Clown Cafe, terror festers in a revolting bathroom, and holiday cheer turns deadly in a Christmas nightmare. Guests must escape Art's twisted world or become his next gruesome display. Based on that, I'm hearing a lot from the second movie, and since I made it through the first one, I do plan to at least watch the second. We'll see how that goes before I commit to the third. So on Wednesday night, Ash messaged Tim and I and said, yo, you should watch Terrifier, just for reasons, you know? He knew I hadn't seen it, he was about to watch it, so I was like, you know what, fine. If you guys are gonna watch it, I will watch it with you. That'll make it fun. And so in fact, the three of us watched Terrifier together, and I can say it was not as bad as I was expecting, because this was the first movie where they didn't have a budget. I am fully expecting the second one to be much harder for me to sit through. I am totally fine with old classic gore. Classic horror movie where it's practical effects, it's very obvious that it's not real. That kind of gore I can handle. That's why I like classic horror way more than modern horror. So for me, I did fine with it. Did I love it? No. There's really not a plot. It's really just Art the Clown goes through murdering people in very gruesome and disgusting ways. I have been told there's a little more plot in the second movie, so we will see. I will watch it. I made it through. I did not hate it. So I think that's a vote of confidence for that movie, for what it is, that I did not hate it. I know, however, there are so many people out there who absolutely love it, and I do understand. Art is an iconic character, a very recognizable character. I think it's going to be very easy to replicate in a house, because you can just put that costume on anyone and it works. You know, a premise of a slasher house with a bunch of kills and a bunch of gore absolutely works for Halloween Horror Nights. And I think so many out there are stoked to see it. Definitely let me know if you're one of those people in the comments. I think it had to come to Halloween Horror Nights. With how popular this franchise has become, I think it was only inevitable that we would see it at the event at some point. So with the announcement, we also got our new teaser video, and that means another codename flower. And in the video, you can see a string of poinsettia lights in the background, pointing to the fact that this one is in fact poinsettia. We kind of figured that. That was our assumption. And that means this one will be in Soundstage 25. Larger soundstage. It was used for the Walking Dead Mega House. It was used for Stranger Things 2/3. It had both years in there. Those were larger houses than usual. I don't know that this will necessarily be a mega house or a larger house. It could be. This seems like it's going to take us through mostly Terrifier 2 with bits from 1 and 3 as well. Now, we were also teased with some information on Twitter from some of the Halloween Horror Nights creative team, hinting that this house is going to obviously be disgusting. There's no shock there. We were told it's going to be the goriest house that's been at Halloween Horror Nights in years, and we were told to pack our ponchos. So I'm expecting there to be some very gory kill scenes. Blood is splattering out. I'm expecting a lot of water effects in this house is what I'm saying. We will see what happens with that. I am one that doesn't love getting sprayed with water in houses. It's one of the things, if I know there's a water effect, I will try my best to dodge it. I will try to run to avoid it. See me in Slaughter Cinema 2 last year, where every time I heard the trigger of the guy about to puke, I would either wait so he puked on the people in front of me, or I would run so he puked on the people behind me. So that could be an interesting effect for me. I might be dodging this house quite a bit. If you do in fact need a poncho to go through it, it will probably not be my favorite. But on the other hand, there's people out there who love it, and it is hot out there. Let me know how you feel about that teaser. And as always, since we had an announcement, we also had a merch release, which means the new piece of the stained glass was released. Thankfully, Ash picked it up for me since he was already in the park. I do have the Ghoul and Jason in there already, and I will be able to pick up Art eventually. Which means we still have 2 more pieces of stained glass to go, and conveniently there's still 2 more IPs to go. There's also a Terrifier shirt and a Terrifier bag. Neither one of those called to my heart, neither one of those I need, but I definitely needed the piece of stained glass. Now, as I just mentioned, there are still 2 more IP announcements to go. We know one of them is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's because the worst kept secret. However, I'm expecting that to be the very last one. I'm thinking that is the main piece of the stained glass. So I think our next announcement is going to be for the rumored WWE house. But based on last year we got tickets, and then the following week we had Scare Zone week, where each day we got a Scare Zone. I'm crossing my fingers that we get that again because they already repeated the originals week. So how fun would it be if next week is Scare Zone week? I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I would be very happy if we just kept this train going of information. We have Scare Zone week next week, then WWE, then Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're basically at the event. There's not much time left, so they've got to get these announcements cranking out there, and that means you'll be seeing me quite a bit more in the coming weeks. So until then, stay safe and stay spooky. Bye.